The town of Meadowbrook was the epitome of suburban charm. Its streets were lined with towering oaks, its schools were ranked among the best in the state, and its community gatherings were filled with laughter and camaraderie. But beneath its idyllic surface, Meadowbrook harbored subtle cracks of prejudice, hidden biases that occasionally surfaced when no one was looking. Maritz. Tess? Ramos had felt it on rare occasions during her years as a teacher at Meadowbrook Elementary, but she had never let it deter her passion for shaping young minds. Her classroom was a haven of creativity and encouragement, where students thrived under her patient guidance. One crisp autumn morning, Tess's usual routine was interrupted. The school laptop assigned to her class had gone missing. It wasn't just any laptop. It contained lesson plans, student records, and specialized educational software. Panic rippled through the school as Principal Harriet Dawson called for immediate action. Within hours, Officer Richard Bellows arrived, his air of authority casting a heavy shadow over the school. Bellows had recently been promoted and was eager to prove himself. Though his reputation as a rule enforcer was solid, whispers of his biased views had followed him to his new role. When he began his investigation, his eyes settled on Tess almost immediately. To him, she stood out, an immigrant with an accent and a modest lifestyle. He didn't say it outright, but his pointed questions and veiled remarks made his suspicions clear. "Mrs. Ramos," Bellows began, his tone clipped, "you were the last person seen with the laptop. Is that correct?" Tess nodded calmly, though unease coiled in her chest. "Yes, officer. I used it yesterday for my lesson. Afterward, I locked it in the classroom cabinet, as I always do." "And no one else has access to that cabinet?" he pressed. "Only the cleaning staff, but they've worked here for years. They're trustworthy," Tess replied firmly. Bellows leaned in slightly, his gaze narrowing. "I'm sure they are, but we can't overlook any possibilities. And if I may, someone in your position." Tess's brow furrowed. "My position? You've moved here recently, haven't you?" he said, his voice laced with insinuation. "Sometimes people have financial pressures. It's not uncommon." Heat flushed Tess's cheeks. "Officer, I have dedicated my life to teaching these children. I would never jeopardize their education, let alone my integrity." Word of the investigation spread quickly. By lunchtime, rumors were swirling among staff and parents. Whispers about Tess's background and Bellows' thinly veiled accusations reached Jordan Smith, one of Tess's brightest students. Jordan was fiercely loyal to his teacher and didn't hesitate to tell his mother, Karen, what he had overheard. Karen, a well-connected community volunteer, was appalled. "That's outrageous," she said. "We're not letting this go." She immediately contacted Principal Dawson, who was already grappling with the implications of Bellows' actions. Dawson, a no-nonsense leader with a strong moral compass, decided to investigate further. She and the school's IT specialist reviewed the hallway security footage, hoping to uncover the truth. Meanwhile, Bellows intensified his questioning, doubling down on Tess despite her consistent answers and steadfast demeanor. Jordan, eager to help clear his teacher's name, asked Dawson if he could assist. "She didn't do anything wrong," he insisted. "There has to be something on those cameras." Dawson smiled at his determination. "Let's find out." Together, they combed through hours of footage until they found what they were looking for. A figure, hooded and unfamiliar, sneaking into Tess's classroom late in the evening. The timestamp matched the window when the laptop went missing. Dawson wasted no time confronting Bellows. "Officer, we have new evidence," she announced, her voice icy with restrained anger. "Your assumptions about Mrs. Ramos were not only baseless, but clearly prejudiced. Take a look at this." Bellows watched the footage in silence, his face tightening as the reality set in. I was following procedure," he stammered. "Your procedure targeted an innocent woman based on nothing more than her background," Dawson snapped. "You owe her an apology, and there will be a formal report on your conduct." Word of the exoneration spread just as quickly as the initial rumors. Parents and students rallied around Tess, their support washing away the sting of Bellows' accusations. Karen organized a community meeting where Tess was given the chance to address her neighbors. "This experience has been painful," Tess admitted, her voice steady but emotional. "But it has also shown me the power of standing together. I hope we can use this moment to reflect on how we treat each other and how we can do better." The meeting ended in a standing ovation. Inspired by the ordeal, Tess worked with Dawson and Karen to launch a cultural awareness program at the school. The initiative included workshops, guest speakers, and student projects aimed at fostering empathy and understanding. Bellows faced disciplinary action and was required to undergo sensitivity training. His reputation in Meadowbrook was tarnished, serving as a cautionary tale about the dangers of bias and the importance of accountability. Through it all, Tess remained resilient. Her classroom continued to be a place of inspiration, her dedication unwavering. And while the experience had left its mark, it also sparked meaningful change in the community. Meadowbrook, once marred by hidden biases, began its journey toward becoming a truly inclusive place where every resident could feel valued and respected.